Good afternoon. Ramblin' Rusty here. I'm at the Plains District Memorial Museum here in downtown Timberville. I'm going to go in here and we're going to see a museum that they have set up. And this is, Tom and his wife are here, and they sort of sit around here and keep each other company and greet everyone. And how long have you all been connected with this?
I've been doing it almost 12 years.
12 years, okay.
I retired from my daytime job as a mechanic for 40 years.
Okay.
So when I retired from that, I've had a history, or I've been in love of history for years. I was a Civil War reenactor for 30 years. So my history interests and everything brought me to there. And I know the main curator of the museum, so she got me involved, so I've been involved ever since.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he sort of said, yes, he'll go around and show a little bit and tell a little bit. Every now and then I can read. Where do you want to start?
Well, let's start right here. First of all, this is a new display they just put out, and they change this every 3-4 months. This one is on Broadway. It's talks about the town, the main buildings and the history of the town a little bit, and some of the artifacts and things from people who lived there or still live there.
Now, for some people that don't know, because I'm sending this out, Broadway is just, what, 4-6 miles down the road?
Oh, it's closer than that. It's probably about 2 miles to the south of here.
2 miles south
Right.
is Broadway. But anyway, okay, so go ahead.
So this is a display they just put up. It's been up for probably a couple of weeks or a week now, and it'll be here for probably close to 4 months. They'll have this up, and then they'll change it. And the people of the ladies of the museum do that every 3-4 months. They'll change a major display in here like this. So,
All right, come on down and show me some of the things that they...
all right, this, as I say, they got a lot of pictures of the what it used to look like and some of the old houses and things. Also, they have some books and a lot of writings of people from the area explaining a little bit about this area and their lives and things like that.
Right.
So it's very interesting for people who want to learn a little more about what this area is about.
Okay, which direction do you want to go?
All right, let's head over in that corner over there. Over here, they call this our country store area. They also have a display here about Elwood Colors, who was a local fella who was an excellent black powder shooter. He shot all over the world and was well known and has many, many trophies and awards. Well, he passed away last year, so, and he was a member of this organization. So they have brought out a lot of his trophies, some of his guns, and just some of his interesting things.
Right.
Very interesting fellow. I knew Elwood pretty well, so I enjoyed it when they brought this stuff out.
A crack shot, but no hot shot.
No, that's exactly right. He was a good shot, but he didn't brag about it very much.
Very nice.
And then, of course, it's little displays of some of what it would have been a little bit like in some of the old country stores, and bottles and hats. It's just a variety of different things from the area.
Now this says toys made by the community workers. What were the community workers?
The community workers was like almost like a commune. They had back in towards the Basie area and that area where they would build this kind of things, and they'd sell this stuff to make some money just to help supply themselves. So.
Great.
All right, over here is what we referred to as like our post office area. A little bit of from the history of the old post offices in this area. And then they also have a little shelf over here where there's books and pictures and things you can buy if you want to
Okay.
pick up some memorabilia. So
Great.
this is our arrowhead collection that was donated
Wow.
by Mr. Rife. He had been collecting arrowheads, and this is not his full collection. This is only a partial collection of what he has. But this, he had donated it to the museum, so this is a permanent display here.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And then it's more like an industrial type of area. Hair curler, if you want to get
All
your hair
right.
done, we could do that for you.
All
I
right.
ain't so sure I want to sit under that, but that's what that was for.
Maybe I ought to put my wife under that
I don't even want to plug it in. I just plug it
one.
in.
Whoa. Oh, old printing press.
Yep, a linotype machine for setting type for printing, sewing machines, and all kinds of various things from industry around this area.
Wow. And this,
This is just a collection of things from the industrial area where people have gotten like thermometer from
right. Yeah, the,
Wampler Foods or Pilgrims or whatever it was
Yep.
called back in those days. Rockingham Poultry.
it's amazing what we hang on to, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Then this is like our railroad section and farm equipment. Somebody had donated, and I don't remember who it was, but donated that old switch car for on the railroad, and they had it redone and put it in here. And it does run. I was told, I haven't run it, but they told me it will run, so. But then all the other farm equipment that, farm things that people have donated, old blacksmith forge back there in the back.
Right.
Then we have our band wagon. This is a wagon that was used over the years by the town, and the residents of the town who played instruments would get in there, and of course they dressed in uniforms and performed all over the valley area through here. It was a big deal. Anytime there was a parade or any kind of a to-do where like a lawn party or something like that, this thing was always out there running up and down the road with the band members playing. They donated it to the museum, so in here it is, and it's been repainted, refurbished a little bit, but it's not too bad shape for an
No.
old wagon. All right, and over this way, our library is back there, where a lot of the books and research information is back there. If anybody wants to know any more information, I have a pretty good local library of what information you might be able to find, family history
Right.
and things like that. This is our military section, some of the history of, some of the military history that people have fought, and one interesting thing is we have a little display in there about General Norman Schwarzkopf. His wife is from this area.
Oh, okay.
They met when she was a stewardess and got married, and she is a member of the museum's support group. So we see her at least a couple of times a year in here.
That is great.
Yeah, yeah. And around the corner is more of the military is from Civil War and also World War II and on. Various information about, we had a POW camp that used to be in this area during World War II.
Yeah, they had, what, some Germans here?
Yes, yep.
And I remember reading about that. In fact, I'll put it out on my vlog, telling about what they have here about this.
Yes, they have some pictures from the area as it looks today.
And
There's
where was that
nothing left.
really located from here?
It's, if you leave directly from the museum and head north on 42 up to the second intersection, which is just a couple of hundred
Right,
yards
yeah.
up the road here, you make a left and travel back there about 2 miles, 3 miles, and that's the area where
Okay.
the POW camp was.
I don't know if I want a dentist work on me on this machine.
Yes. Yeah, so our medical sort of area, several things from the good old times gone by. So
Yeah.
I sure wouldn't want to have one of those grills in my mouth anymore. And over this side, we have this our school and local fireman area, old yearbooks and things like that. I don't remember how far back they go, but I do know they have clear up to the current year, so.
Broadway High.
Yeah, for Broadway High School. And then
What's the earliest there, I wonder?
let's see. 1939.
39.
Yeah, that's one of the earliest, and they are
Okay.
chronologically
Yep.
in there. So. I don't know if you could get a shot of it very well, but outside that door you can see this little building
Right.
used during World War II. It was more or less, it was a watchtower that was a little bit to the east of this area, and there's a setup and letters and also news articles about the woman who manned it.
Okay.
And took care of it during World War II. And actually her uniforms in. So this is the area right over here.
Let me go back, let's go back in the kitchen.
The observation tower just outside of Broadway.
I don't know that.
And what were they observing?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Wasn't a whole lot in this area
No,
back then.
no.
Of course, we had POWs, so you never
Yeah.
know. Maybe that's what they were looking for.
It was interesting. I was reading about, at one time there was a covered bridge across the
Yes,
river
right down
here.
here, yeah.
And then, of course, that was done away with for a more modern bridge.
Mm-hmm.
But then for many years, they had the ford. Where was the ford that they came to get from one side of the river to the other?
I tell you the truth, I'm not sure. I don't know exactly where that
Yeah, I was
was.
just reading it. Like I say, I try to do some research before going in there.
Yeah,
Oh, those are nice quilts.
yep. We actually have an old piece of the beam from the old bridge over here
Okay.
in the museum, so people can actually get a little view of how big the
Right.
beams were. More like a kitchen area, home.
And then
Cooking
who
area,
made
so-
this big quilt up here? That one.
That was made by ladies from local church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Then over here is more of like a living from the old timey people that played the organ at home, and some of the old toys and cameras and things of the yesteryear. If people are just curious about what was around in those days, we've got a little bit of a display.
I
of that.
recognize that little one right
Oh
there.
yeah, Charlie McCartney.
Oh. How much does it cost to be a member here?
$10 a year.
$10 a year.
Yes,
Well, I think I'll become a member.
All right.
I've come back home, and right now I'm. Oh, there's some Lionel trains, man.
Well, that's an old Lionel trains from 1929. That was my father's.
Wow.
And I can't be sure where he got it, but he had it, and when they passed away, I got it. I got to the point where I was trying to get rid of some things, and my boys weren't too interested in it, so
You know,
I donated it to the museum. So
that's what's so crazy that, you know, here we hang on these things. I love the one cartoon. You see this man opening up the garage, which is crammed full, and he's telling his son, he says, son, someday all this is going to be yours.
Oh, yes, yes.
What is the son going to do with it? Yeah.
Well, that's, my son said he had no room for it, so he really didn't want it. The
Right.
other son said, what's it worth? So I knew what he wanted to do, so I'm going to give it to the museum.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This is great, you know, and it's nice having somebody that's here. And you've lived in this area all your life?
No, I have not. I'm a transplant. I've been here 30 years,
Okay.
but lived in Pennsylvania. I used to
Okay.
work for Longacre before that became Wampler Longacre. And then
Right.
And transferred down here 30 years ago, 33 years ago now, and decided I love this area. And my interest in the history really helped bring me and keep me here. So.
Right. Well, this is Ramblin' Rusty signing off from now. We'll see where I end up next time. See you all later.